Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo, back after an awesome high school roundup with J.B. Brown, Pride of DeMatha, where this cat next here went to high school, played 12 years in the league. That was a lot of fun. Classy guy, even though he is a stag, it's still all good. He's Tim Strachan.
Oh, man, it was great talking to JB. If you didn't catch it, go back and look at it. Just a classy guy. We tend to have a lot of classy guys on that show.
Well,
really make us look good.
every once in a while. We'll let everyone judge about how classy our friend / guest is tonight. I want to bring in the social media director of Hogs Haven. He is Aaron Lesher. Good evening, sir.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
It's going all right.
We do tend to class it down for Thank God It's Tuesday. Sorry.
It's a basement show. What can I say? At the end of the day, listen, we don't dodge the tough ones, the hard issues, and that's where we're going to start tonight because I think you guys are out to lunch. Popeye's chicken sandwich and Popeye's chicken crushes Chick-fil-A. There's not a single order from Chick-fil-A I would take over Popeye's.
Really? No. See, the sandwich is better. The sandwich from Popeye's is ridiculous. It's really good in a different way with the mayonnaise and all that. There's something about, there's like crack in the Chick-fil-A or something.
The people at Chick-fil-A have been working on their craft and perfecting their one main product, which is their sandwich, and they do a great job at the sandwich. But Popeyes, as far as overall chicken presentation and the sides you have, I think you can't argue. So that's my 2 cents.
Six of one, half a dozen of another, really.
I also had Chick-fil-A yesterday and Popeyes today, so I've got a good comparison. Palate has been cleansed between, but I did do back-to-back taste tests.
Well, I know you're putting in the work, and I bet that
we have a connoisseur here.
What we're most appreciative of. I also want to say, in addition to saying thank God it's Tuesday, which is the official Washington football podcast of Hogs Haven, I wanted to say a special welcome to all of our friends on the board. I do see the familiar faces, the Jameses, the Gregs, the Erics, and the Roberts. I want to say a special welcome to AGH. Welcome back, sir. We do appreciate seeing you. I want to make sure you know that our prayers and our hearts and our thoughts are with you and your family. My brother, we appreciate you. And you from all the way across the pond, you know we got your back. So good to see you, and hopefully every day is just one step better, buddy.
Yeah, prayers out to you, my friend. We're with you.
I'll tell you what. I was trying to figure out where to get started tonight because it's big. There's actually football about to take place, allegedly, and I do believe they're going to be serious about getting this football season started. Yeah. They're not going to let baseball and basketball play and then decide that we're not going to play the greatest team sport on the planet.
Right.
So they're going to get shamed into playing ball, one way or the other, but. And I have a list of things that I want to get to, and I think some of them are pretty fun to talk about. But I just want to – I always like to have just one little dose of reality. I saw a stat this week that maybe just to lead off with reality, 70% of the NFL player pool is considered a quote-unquote high-risk coronavirus person.
Why?
70% based on pre-existing conditions, weight, body type. I think the opting out group right now is almost exclusively offensive and defensive linemen. For the most part, I think they're starting to really take a long, hard look at it. But that's what DeMaurice Smith said. He put some stuff out, and he was like, "Hey, listen, guys have to make a decision. Teams are going to take care of their players. I think they're staying home with their families. There's no, bubble like they're doing in the NHL and NBA. How much, social distancing can you have in football? I mean, you can train. We've already litigated out hitting and practice, but at some point in time, you're going to have to be up in someone's grill.
Yeah, but then you're not allowed to switch jerseys.
No switching jerseys. We
After you
saved
just
no
mauled each other
coronavirus.
For 3.5 hours. You're not allowed to. Hey, stay apart. Look, no one knows how this is going to work. I mean, there's got to be some personal responsibility. We're already seeing in the bubble that there's a problem.
There's a problem in the bubble.
There's a problem in baseball, but I think the silver lining there with the Marlins is it's only right now the Marlins. It hasn't spread to the Phillies, whom they just played. They're going to get ready to play again. So maybe it's not the nightmare scenario everybody thought it was going to be this time yesterday. Yep. So, look, let it all work out. Let it all kind of play out for the next. They're going to go through the motions. They're going to try and get this done.
They're going to push hard. I just wanted to say that stat because that stat just blew me away. 70% of the league is considered at risk.
That's not taking into account their conditioning.
No, it's taking into account all the things that make you at risk. I mean, these guys, of the people who are going to decide they can't play because they're quote-unquote at risk, and those are hard lines. It's weight, it's pre-existing conditions, it's diabetes, it's all this other stuff. Of course they're going to try to get out there and play because they got to make that money. You sit, you don't get paid.
You get something. You get like $160,000. You have to pay back when the season starts.
Dude, these guys have already spent $160,000 this year. But I know they're going to sack up and play. If it's up to an individual player, he's going to say I want to play. But that was a pretty crazy stat. 70% of the league is considered at risk, high risk for this disease. So I don't know. It's about to get real. Aaron, I mean, you see being our face of social media and Twitter, you kind of see the back and forth, especially when it comes to the players coming out that are opting out.
Well, that 70% stat, I mean, you said that was from the Players Association?
From the Players Association and from the doctor. Well, they didn't say we expect 70% of the people to sit.
It's cover for someone who doesn't want to play.
Yeah, I think that's some creative statistics, creative presentation. I mean, if you look at BMI as someone that's high risk, all these football players are going to be high risk because they're jacked up and they're way heavier because they've got so much muscle mass. But
sure,
they're also 22 to 35, or I'm sure 80% plus of the league is in their 20s. So if you look at the statistics, and plus, all these guys are in amazing shape for the most part, even the big guys.
Yep.
The statistics in that age group has to be very low. But certainly, I mean, you've got to look out for if you got a family, young kids at home, if you live with your relatives and you kind of take care of them too, and they're older. There's all sorts of different factors. So I totally understand that. But going back to your question, I actually put out a tweet today between all the craziness around LeBron, and we're at 107,000 likes on Twitter,
and
counting. 107,000 and counting. But I did put out a tweet just saying it looks like all the guys that are opting out are big men, OL and DL, and Caleb Brantley on the Skins, who we're not really counting on, thankfully, this season, did opt out. One of the first guys too. But yeah, I think it's all the bigger guys so far, and that would probably make sense as far as who in the NFL, everyone's, like I said, in amazing shape and pretty young, would be at the higher risk, would be the guys that have some LBs on them, and may have some underlying conditions and stuff. So the Patriots, I mean, God, what a crazy offseason to be a Patriots fan. I don't feel bad for them whatsoever, but I think they've had 4 or 5 guys opt out at this point.
I think they're up to 6. There's this conspiracy theory that Bill Belichick is paying these guys off so they can tank the season and get Trevor Lawrence.
Tank for Trevor, yeah.
But there's no way they're going to have to sit 30 guys and Belichick to win less games than us. I mean, I love me some Washington football team, and maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a lot of opting out from around the league, and then all of a sudden we look a whole lot better.
It would be us to win,
I don't care. Strike shortened season, COVID season. I don't care. I'll take it any way I can get it. and Trevor Lawrence can go take his blonde locks somewhere else.
Ooh.
I mean, I want him on my team, but if you asked me, would you take an appearance in the NFC Championship game with no guarantee of Super Bowl, but just getting all the way to the NFC Championship game in our current state, or the first pick for Trevor Lawrence?
I hate these questions.
I would take the NFC Championship game with no guarantee of Super Bowl.
I certainly don't want to tank
all day.
Anything for
this season, Ken.
Guy.
This season.
Yeah, we always root for wins. If we are 6-8, and a loss would mean like 4 draft spots in the last week of the season, we all see, everyone says, "Oh, we got to lose so we can get that higher draft pick." I'm still rooting for the win that week because it's it's going to be against Dallas or Philly or the Giants, and F those guys. I always want to beat them. So, but
I've always been that way.
Yeah, you got to be. I mean, why would you watch? I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch for losses. That's stupid.
I mean, I'm glad we lost and got chased, but at the same time, I was still rooting for a win.
Oh yeah,
16 and 17.
Root for a win and be okay if they lose.
That's right.
Yeah.
You get who you need. It all worked out the way it was supposed to work out. But that LeBron tweet, so there's no. I got to talk to Kevin Ewald, that is, and find out how much higher than 100,000 likes we've ever gotten on something. It certainly hasn't been in the last 2 years.
There's absolutely no way there's even been a tweet that's been 10% of that. Thank you. There's never been the biggest tweet I've seen was like a couple thousand before this, but
yeah, okay.
Who knows? Maybe back in the heyday we're cranking out bangers, but in the 5 years I've been on Twitter for Hogs Haven, this is like probably 50 times bigger than the second biggest.
So we have a strategy now, Aaron. We got it's all LeBron all day. And
we are official LeBron haters. The Washington football team is
taking
on anti-LeBron.
Yeah.
Anti-LeBron Twitter account.
Has he responded at all?
Well, absolutely not. I mean,
no way.
So I was sharing it with some friends, and just as we hit 7,500 likes, and then 25,000, and then 70,000. I leave the gym today. We're at over 100,000, which is pretty cool. I did show some.
He was at the gym.
Yeah,
by
that's
the way.
Second time he's
like,
done talking to us.
At the gym after I worked out.
Look,
meanwhile, he's crushing Popeyes in our face.
I'm eating Popeyes too, so you got to have some balance. You got to have some balance, and I just want to make sure everybody knows what's kind of going on. But I did share with some friends that I think, and actually I saw a video of him like getting an ice bath or something, or being wrapped in ice, sitting on a throne in the bubble today. But if he was checking his phone, and he probably doesn't manage his Twitter account, but his agents or team does. Someone on his team that is fairly well known has seen that tweet and has seen the comments and has kind of scrolled through, because if you search LeBron, just LeBron on Twitter, we are the first thing that comes up.
Yes.
And so there's probably 1 million people that search LeBron on Twitter every day, all across the world. So I don't know if he's seen it personally, but someone on his team has seen it. So
he's so polarizing, Aaron. Someone busted on us about it taking us 4 days to put that out. There's like 10,000 likes just on that tweet. It's like it's crazy.
People that were replying, and throwing shade on it, whatever. We've got a great ratio, so I don't feel bad whatsoever. But there's a couple people that got like 10,000 likes on their reply.
Yeah.
And I checked their profile, and now that's their pinned tweet that they're putting. So proud of that clapback to our clapback that they're putting that as their golden moment on Twitter. So it's pretty crazy. There's like a whole ecosystem of replies and comments, people fighting, getting into arguments in the replies. So it's pretty wild.
I think that has to be like in our playbook now for sure. Like just and I'll tell you what. It gives me no pleasure. I've never been a LeBron fan as a player, right? I mean, he didn't go to a college I hated because he didn't go to college. But he played for the Cavs, and he beat our Wizards, multiple times in the playoffs, famously walking along the baseline past Brendan Haywood to a dunk. and I was miserable about it for years. I can honestly say he's statesman level as far as athletes are concerned at this point in time. I mean, you can hate on him just
Isn't
because
he
of
a
the
billionaire
Well,
technically
oh
already?
he's absolutely a billionaire. I mean, he's like transcended like normal hating on an athlete.
he's gone from one of the most hated athletes at one time during the decision or right after
Yeah,
the decision to this. You're right, to this statesman.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't say
I've always
love.
been
I'd say more like respect.
I've always been on the fence about him. I think he's an incredible player.
Yep.
I think he does sometimes, polarizes.
Is he the most recognizable athlete in the world, do you think? Like that's still playing?
In the
Number
world,
one?
I think he's
it's
top
hard to
three.
overcome
Or
soccer
like
in
him
Yeah.
and
worldwide.
Ronaldo, Cristiano, and
Messi, and
Yeah.
Ronaldo
Messi,
have to
Ronaldo,
be
yeah.
up there. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Tom
you
Brady.
what.
He's up there.
What's that?
He's up there.
Oh, I think he's. I say top three. I mean, he's
Yeah.
easily top five.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who would be up there besides Messi and Ronaldo as far as most recognized athlete on the planet. I
Well,
don't.
Brady, I'd still say Brady is probably top five, but I think LeBron is just because
Probably
internationally,
I
LeBron is
still
probably
hate Brady.
ahead of him.
That's like a more of a healthy player hate. I don't think he's the greatest of all time, and I hate that argument because he's probably the greatest of all time, and it makes me mad. But I'm taking Brett Favre number one, and I'm sticking with it.
Oh.
He's my Popeyes number five with extra sauce and a little honey mustard. That's Brett Favre for me. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, I know our board is going off on a crazy tangent right now, so I'll try to get him back. It's not the LeBron hour, Greg. Don't worry, Mister. You'll be fine. Um, we got our
We got
own.
problems in the chat.
We got our own recognizable statesman. I mean, Alex Smith. I told you this a year and a half ago. He is going to suit up for our team.
It
this
is
year.
amazing what he's been able to do, but he's not playing football this year. Come on, man.
He's playing football.
God, he's not.
So he starts on the pup. Right now, is physically unable to perform. You have to make that designation ahead of training camp now. You can't give someone that status in camp. So he's got the status. He's going to be working out. Okay, so here's what I've been saying the whole time that still is right. Disney has their hands around this story like you wouldn't believe. And
so
there's
Disney magic is
Yes.
going to allow this man to
Yes.
play the most violent sport on
Yep.
grass.
Yep.
Are they following him around? Is that something that's known? He's got like Disney crews and stuff.
I was basically saying, so here's a guy when he's laying on the ground with his leg spirally fractured, and then he almost dies in the hospital. The first thought I had, and I shared with T and Kevin in the basement, was we're about to get treated to a made for Disney comeback movie story. That's going to be an awesome movie for very few people.
Bottle of red breast
Yes.
on the line.
We got a bottle of red press on the line, and I said there's no way he doesn't get back on the field for the Washington football team in some way, shape, or form. All he has to do is show up in pads and a helmet on Sunday. That's all that has to happen for me to win a bottle of red breast. And there's no way in the world that if he shows up in a helmet and shoulder pads that they don't trot him out for a play or two. There's no way. He's playing. He's going to play. He should never play football again. He should never even go near a football field.
He's not.
Oh, he is. Not. And what does he have to lose? He's 36. He's probably the most COVID
a leg
risky guy.
Maybe.
What's that?
He could lose a leg.
Can you get COVID in the leg? I don't know if you can do that or not. But
well, you asked what he could lose. He could lose a leg.
Well, but he's already almost lost it. I mean, Aaron, is he playing?
I think you're delusional, Ken. He's going to be standing on the sidelines or sitting on the sidelines with a clipboard.
In
for
shoulder
16
pads and
weeks.
helmet?
No, he always. First of all, he's on the pup, so I don't even know if he certainly can't dress if he's on the pup. So he's just. I don't even know if he can be on the sidelines. I don't even know if anybody that's like not active that game is gonna be playing. He'll probably be up in the box with Danny.
It's not good if he's in a uniform.
It's terrible.
On a 53-man roster.
We should
it's
all
not gonna happen.
agree. And by the way, this football team is maybe one of the 1 or 2 or 3 teams in the entire league where you could take a one-legged guy and say, yeah, he could probably make this team. I mean, that's who we are, first of all. Second of all,
should I report to training camp?
Hey, you still got
There's
a little
Disney story for you.
I would watch that movie.
Hey, can you throw a 9-yard curl route?
7. I'm maxed out at 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and
we're signing you.
The only problem with Alex Smith being our quarterback is, as a segue to our next topic, we have no tight end, and he throws exclusively to tight ends. I was trying to think, and Aaron, check me on this. Is there a position that's more terrible for the Washington football team at this moment in time than tight end? As important as it is in any offense, I mean, are we as worse off at any position as we are at tight end?
Well, it certainly looks bad on paper. I'll give you that. I mean, I think, God forbid if something happens to Terry or a wide receiver core, we're pretty screwed. And that could be worse, but I don't know. I mean, the coaching staff supposedly likes Logan. What is it? Logan Paul.
Logan Thomas.
Logan Paul is somebody else. Yeah, Logan, who I actually really liked. I used to play with him in Madden. He had some speed. He used to play quarterback. He played at Tech, and he was pretty cool to mess around with in Madden. But yeah, I mean, supposedly he's like somebody they think they can mold. And then I'm a huge fan of Thaddeus Moss.
Sure.
And loved him at LSU. Thought he was a 4th round pick. He can block his butt off. I think he's got like deceptively good hands and some speed. So I'm hopeful for him. But yeah, it looks pretty bad on paper. I think usually when a position group, at least in my very anecdotal experience, if something looks really bad on paper, it usually isn't as bad as expectations. And there's a pleasant surprise in there somewhere. I don't know what it is, law of averages or something, but I think I think at the end of the season we will say that another position group, I don't know if this is bold prediction or not, but at the end of the season we'll say that there was another position group that was just definitely worse than the tight ends for the Washington football team. I don't know what that will be. Maybe it'll be cornerback or receiver, or O-line or somebody. But
O-line's going to be tough.
Yeah.
No sprinkle talk from either one of you.
Oh yeah. He's done.
The good news is that Scott Turner in this offense, we've talked about it a lot, the 21 personnel, the one tight end is going to be pretty much a base package for this offense. So, yes, we will run plays with multiple tight ends, but our base package is going to be one tight end. So we just need one guy to materialize to be a guy who we can feel confident in. And he's going to have to block because our offensive line is pretty poopy at this point in time.
Also, just our tight ends have never been good at blocking since, I don't know, Chris Cooley. Like
Logan Paulson was a decent blocker.
Well, yeah, but okay, so he was kind of the last
Chris
last
Cooley
one.
wasn't that good of he was all right at blocker, but he was physical.
But I mean,
he did enough.
Jordan Reed was duty. He was cheeks, and
in duty so far.
He was not a good blocker.
And then Vernon obviously was kind of in the same boat. So I think maybe we'll have the best blocking tight ends we've had since the Shanahan era or whatever. But we'll see about actually catching passes. But I do I'm with you because I think there was a quote in a Rivera interview that came out in The Athletic today, and it was saying how they're gonna design the offense around their personnel and all this kind of stuff. All the offseason puff pieces that you kind of see around this time of year. But it was definitely nice to read that from Rivera. And I think that means Scott Turner being creative with multiple running backs and, flexing out Antonio Gibson into the slot and, having Geis and AP and Gibson kind of rotating and doing a lot of two two back sets with one tight end and a couple three wide receivers out there. So I'm hoping we kind of see some cool stuff and maybe we'll get a surprise. The fantasy guys are all over Antonio Gibson, like
Oh
the
yeah.
the the wise
Wait, no,
guys on fantasy are
don't
into
tell
Gibson.
everybody. I got a couple drafts coming up, and I'm trying to sneak him on my team. Um, he's going to be a target-heavy player in this offense. I think he's going to get. I think he could easily be 8 to 10 touches minimum per game, which I think is a lot from a receiver standpoint. I don't know how much they're going to actually hand off to him. But I think if he gets 4 or 5 actual handoffs,
you need to keep it honest. You got to hand off to him from time to time.
But
you can't just have him strictly be.
You guys told me, you and Kevin and Coach Silverfield over at Memphis told me that the easiest thing in the world, you got Geis and a Gibson lining up behind you, and you can read the man side, you can read the zone side. One of those guys could be getting a dump off pass on every single play. And if that's true, then Antonio Gibson could get 6 to 10 throws easily. No Chris Thompson. Not sure when Bryce Love is going to be fully healthy. I love Bryce Love. I think if he's healthy, he can go. He's a playmaker for us.
That was great news that he got cleared.
Yeah.
That he passed his physical. I was surprised by that. So
I was surprised too because I was initially told he would not be ready for activities if training camp started on time. So
that's what I heard too.
But Bryce Love's not taking targets away from Antonio Gibson. Bryce Love, whatever they have for Bryce Love's getting. And you lose a Kelvin Harmon, even though the league barely took notice. Obviously, we were all. He was the guy they were going to try to throw the ball to. So I know Aaron, your guy, Liberty Bibberty, we talked about him before. You got Sims and Quinn. Cody Latimer, I think they put him on. Did they put him on PUP also because of his arrest?
No. He got it. He got on the exempt list. So
exempt list. Okay.
He's like got like 5 felonies or something crazy that he's like working out.
Yeah,
him and Dunbar and the guy DeAndre Baker or whatever and his partner in crime. But anyway, he's on the exempt list, so he can't even play or come into the facility. I don't think. But yeah, man, the Harmon sucks. I loved Harmon so much. I was so glad we took him. He was one of my draft crushes last year. I thought he was a beast. He reminded me of a baby. I called him Baby Garcon on Hogs Haven, just because that's kind of how he played. And I thought he kind of came on with Haskins later in the year. So I was pumped. So we still have Sims though, and McLaurin's just McLaurin, man. He's so like he's just got that it factor. Yeah, he's just got that it factor, and I think he's just going to be legit.
Well, go ahead
this year.
Go ahead and finish off your Antonio Gibson love. I want to make sure there's people on this board right now, including Greg Martin, all the way from the New York, New Jersey area, who doesn't see Antonio Gibson getting on the field with this offense, and he won't listen to me. He doesn't understand.
Who else is going to be on the field? Craig or whatever your name is.
Greg.
I mean, Greg, come on, man. Who's going to be on the field? This offense sucks. We just drafted him in the 3rd round, and they're giving him McCaffrey comparisons. So I mean, his highlight reel is insane, but he like touched the ball 70 times in college. So it's a really small sample size, but yeah, man, he's exciting. So they're going to give him all the opportunities, just like what you're saying, Ken. They're going to have split back on either side of Haskins, and they're gonna, it'll basically be like an RPO type deal. I think with him kind of out of the backfield or hand off to Geis or hand off to Gibson, just based on the read. So
Daniel LaRusso taking snaps for us in an Alex Smith jersey, handing it off to Antonio Gibson, throwing to Liberty Bibberty. This has a ghetto fabulous taste to the season already.
I have a less optimistic outlook on the season now listening to you two.
I mean, so
good Lord.
So let's move away
we
from
maybe getting Lawrence.
Let's move away from offense because offense just is going to bring us down. It's all about our defense, and I think when you talk about what Rivera is going for this season, it is how do I set up my defense to put us in position to win games, and it's a different it's a different beast, right? Because they've litigated a lot of defense out of this league, but at the same time, you can get to the quarterback, which we have the guys to do. Um, if you can get to the quarterback and tackle at the linebacker level, you got a chance. And I think that is what we have.
Okay.
Aaron, if we're going to pump any optimism into this board tonight, the name of the game for us has to be defense.
Yeah, I mean I mean I think it's just getting pressure with four guys. But going back to the offense for a second, I mean I think the only focus should be with the coaching staff, especially with how like crazy the off season is and lack of off season, whatever, is they just need to like figure out how they can run the ball 25 times a game. If they can like establish some kind of running game, which we like never had under Gruden, if we can kind of move the ball and Gruden just could not coach. He just wanted to pass because he just kept thinking he was in the Arena League with the Tampa Tuskers or whatever the heck they were called. But if we can, and I trust that Ron and Scott Turner can kind of figure it out, or at least do better than Jay. But if they can get a running game that complements a defense, which is pretty stacked on paper, like I think we'll be decent because whenever we were good with Gruden, we just played ball control football and just took the did one time possession and stuff. So I think everything revolves around the running game. We don't have the weapons and depth and everything like that, and Haskins is a question mark to be throwing it around like the Chiefs. So that's my 2 cents on the offense. But I mean, yeah, defense is simple. You just get talented players, and we actually have a real defensive coordinator, even though he's a little bit of a nutcase. But hey, he wants the white uniforms, so that's cool, I guess.
I agree with both of you. I think Rivera is going to try to establish at least this first year. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the identity of this team. I think the identity of the team has got to be the defense. That's where the best players that we have are assembled, and I think that's what's Rivera's. That's his identity, right? It's defense. It's establishing, a tough place to come play. We do have a little bit of time to develop an identity on offense, and I don't think we're going to get it this year because I don't think they have the personnel that they need to do what they really want to do.
But Tim, isn't the best compliment of good defense like that running game? It's like time possession, and you just got to play that on offense. So that's what the Titans did in the playoffs, and with Henry and everything, their defense stepped up. So I think that's like really that's kind of the flavor they have to go after.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to establish a running game. I think Scott Turner is going to be able to do a lot of interesting things with Sims and Gibson to get the ball out of Dwayne's hands quickly, make it a little bit easier on him. You're right. Possession, possess the ball, eat the clock, because you're going to have a defense that's going to keep teams hopefully under 26 points or less. If you can keep team under 26, you have a chance to win a football game. Doesn't matter.
If we can get pressure with 4 first-round guys up front, now you're talking about getting off the field on third down. That's one thing that Washington has not been able to do well over the last 4, 5, 6 years. That's one of the reasons why we went out and got Landon Collins, because he was a guy who made plays on third down. If we get to the quarterback with those 4 guys, then we're getting off the field on third down a whole lot more. And
yeah, but it doesn't help when your offense is getting off the field on third down.
Got to get first downs, and I don't think we're doing it with a prolific passing game. I think we're going to be doing it with at least 4 running backs. I mean,
well, if you mean by prolific, throwing the ball downfield all game long, no, you're not going to do it. But again, the tight end situation, we may be seeing a lot of 30 personnel for all we know, right?
Sure.
So I think
the full house.
you gotta have some,
I love it.
hope that Turner is going to be able to make it easier on Dwayne, right?
Yep.
That he's not going to have to sit in the pocket for over 2 seconds or 2.3 seconds. That he's going to get the ball out of his hands. It's going to be a dink and dunk. Get it in the ball in the hands of guys that can make plays in space, right? So I think it's going to be balanced, but they're still going to have to sling it. It's just not going to be sitting in the pocket with max protection.
If Aaron, if you're old enough to have, I know you're a Madden guy, so with Michael Vick was with the Falcons, were you playing Madden in those days?
No, that was before my time, but
All right.
I've messed around with Lamar Jackson, and
Okay.
he's pretty filthy. But yeah, I mean,
the full house formation when Vick was the quarterback for the Falcons, you had Vick, Warwick Dunn, T.J. Duckett, and then they would roll Algie Crumpler. So you'd have Crumpler, Duckett, and Dunn in the back with Vic, and you would just run it down people's throats. It was the most fun. I can imagine playing with Lamar would be similar because he's a stud. But when Vic was back there in that full house offense, it was unstoppable. The only team that could regularly match up well was that Rams offense with Warner and those guys. But I don't know. You had me thinking Madden there, Aaron. And by the way, speaking of Madden, they're going to eliminate all Redskins from the game, right? So what's going on? Have they already made that? Have they already put that out? I mean, we're getting numbers on helmets.
So apparently it was going to be a software fix once you put the game in for the first time. They were going to fix it on the back end.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a good looking out.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, Madden is just such a depressing game because they actually never care about making it good. Because they know people like me will spend $60 regardless if it's the exact same game with new rosters. So anyway, besides that, minor issue. I will obviously be getting Madden the second it comes out, probably pre-ordering it or whatever, and getting my Washington football team jerseys. But yeah, I haven't seen because I don't know if the team hasn't officially released any of that. No. Like the official stuff. They sent some dumb looking mock-up to Adam Schefter, but beyond that, I don't think they're kind of ready with the full stuff.
I like the numbers on the helmet. I think that's cool. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It is. It's old school football.
I don't know if you can pull up Twitter right now, but we've got 500 likes on a tweet I just sent out an hour ago. Okay. And Landon Collins had put this up on his Instagram, and I just took a screenshot. But it's a uniform mock-up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I think it looks really, really slick. But it's basically just the uniforms, white tops, burgundy pants with the gold and white stripe. But the helmet just looks awesome.
I hope that's the helmet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too. That just looks so good.
I like gold. I like the gold pants over the burgundy pants personally, but what are you gonna do?
Who are you, Bruce Allen?
Now take it easy. That's not probably the meanest thing you could have possibly said to me.
It's not like Bruce Allen invented gold pants.
Aaron, you just hit me like you can't even know. Like you could have said just about anything, and it wouldn't have been as offensive as that.
I apologize. That was not my intention, Ken.
I'm gonna have to take a breath. It made me rethink my whole life when you said that. Like
I would never treat my boss that way. That's crazy.
I'm nobody's boss.
I need to watch my tongue.
I am nobody's boss.
No, you don't.
But Greg, I think we've set Greg straight tonight. That was really the key for the show, in my opinion, was to get
accomplished our goal.
Greg back on board. Aaron, I want to say thank you so much for your Tuesday night time. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, guys. Good talking to you.
We'll get you back here soon and on a more regular basis, especially as we have some actual football coverage to start. I mean, got a kind of a high watermark, kind of a big one to beat, 100 plus thousand. I mean, we have to go over go after Jordan or Mike Tyson or something at this point in time to get a bigger response.
Yeah, look, I'm totally happy. I can die happy now. Got to, tweet over 100,000 likes. It's never going to happen again. It's never even going to come close.
Not
Go
even,
get
but it's
go
fine.
get a second number 6 from Popeyes. Go for it.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah. The Popeyes was my reward today for good job tweeting about 6 words. So.
All right, man. Well, we'll get you back. Thank you so much, buddy. That's Aaron Lesher, Director of Social Media at Hogs Haven, just crushing it. T, we haven't said any special words for our friend who's on vacation tonight, Kevin Ricka.
I still haven't seen this First Amendment sports vacation package that he has. He's got a pretty sweet deal.
He's got a good, negotiator.
Do you want to know how many vacations I've taken in 2 years?
I want to hear it.
0.
Really?
Yeah, I've taken no vacation.
You deserve a vacation. I'm trying to think if I've taken a vacation. I don't know that I have.
Kevin's taken enough for both of us.
Well, he's taking a beating right now.
He was scheduled to be on with us tonight, and then 10 minutes before we went on, he said, "Sorry, guys."
I'm just saying, he's going to have
bad
some words
connection.
for you.
I think bad connection is code for I'm on my 15th drink of the day.
Oh, you're just that's live ammo. You're firing here.
Am I wrong?
We got that text pretty early this morning, so 15 drinks.
Oh,
by that
you got
point.
it early. I didn't get it until late.
All right. So, yeah. I mean, he is at the beach, so it is. Hey, the beach is the beach.
To each his own.
Yeah.
No, we miss you. We miss you, Kev. We'll figure it out. We'll get you back on next week.
Yeah, and you need to shoot some of these guys straight. I got called Bruce Allen. Greg doesn't understand anything about awesome Memphis running backs, and these guys are out to lunch on where the best chicken is in town. So we've got a lot to hash out here in the next few weeks. Yeah, I know. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I want to say a special thank you to Luke David and Victor Maddox for making us look and sound so good, and our guest Aaron Lesher for hanging out with us on. I mean, it's Tuesday, so people are busy. It's kind of a big night, and he carved out some time. Appreciate Kevin Ricka, even though he wasn't here to join us tonight. We know he's having a good time. He's Tim Strachan.
And I know Kevin would want me to do this for himself as well. One last time, throw out our prayers, our thoughts, our friendship to our friend AGH. We're with you, buddy. You've been with us this whole time, whether it's 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, wherever you are, what you're watching. You've become a friend of ours. You've come over here. You spend time with us, and we're there for you, brother. If we're not